day, Steph will sort of talk through the functionality with you, and then she'll start by setting up the coordinators and show you how to invite patients and all that kind of thing. So if it's okay with you then, Steph, I'll hand over to you.
Okay, thank you. And just to say, if you've got any questions throughout, just do ask, and one of us will respond and answer your questions as we go through. So first of all, I just wanted to show you the patient view of PKB so that you can see what they can see and how it works for them. So this is a patient logged in once they've registered, and it shows, first of all, their welcome message. Now, this is a welcome message that we've, or Connected Knots have developed just as a generic one that we can put in all of the practice sites, but you have the ability to change that if you need to. So once you're set up as a coordinator, you do have that ability. There's also 3 quick buttons here to send a message, so the patient can send a message. They can invite a separate individual professional and start a consultation. But I'll go through those afterwards and as we work through this. You also see that there's a list of notifications here. Now, a patient will get an email through to their email that they registered with every time there's some activity on their record, so they don't have to be logging in all the time. They'll get notified if there's messages, appointments, sort of test result added or something, and in that email it'll give them a link, and if they click on that link it will take them directly to that part of their record so they can see exactly what's been added. Or if they're just logging in and doing things, they can always see here the latest notifications that they've got. Then we move down the screen to the different areas of their health record, and so I'll go through these one by one. So first of all, we've got the events and messages. Now this collates all the different messages that are sent between patient and professional, any letters that may be sent out, so from the hospital trust, discharge letters, anything that's related to an event or message will sit in this area. And as you can see, it's very much like an email inbox, and it just holds them all in date order, and they can click in any and see more details. The number at the side just means how many threads are in that message. So if we just open up one, this was a consultation that the patient sent through to their team here. So the next thing is the health part of the record. So as you can see here, we've got different areas of that, including diagnosis. What this does is pull through these diagnoses into this area. Now, we are working with Ian and his team to start to pull that information through from System 1. So that's being worked on at the moment. The patient can add in their own information if they want to, just to record that. But you can always see who has added what in and when. So as you can see here, the patient has added this one in, and they have the ability to edit and delete that. But any that have been sent in by anyone else or as an integration, an HL7 message, they won't be able to. So it's always closed for the patient to be able to change anything that's not been added by themselves. The allergies section, again, very similar, just they can record those allergies and again add them themselves. Also have a symptom tracker, so the patient can record their own symptoms. They may be asked by their clinicians to just record some over a certain length of time. So the patient can go in and update those on a daily, weekly basis, and then they show the history of how they've been recording those over time. So it gives a pattern of how those symptoms are showing. measurements. So this is an area where you can, again, record your own measurements. So you can add in lots of different measurements are listed there. You can add them in manually, or you can link to devices. So you could link to a Fitbit, or I know some practices are using blood pressure cuffs to record those for their patients. And so all of this information can get fed into PKB, and then it shows as a graph and as the information below. So it starts to, again, show a picture of how those measurements are showing.
And at the moment, does that information just stay in PKB?
Yes, it does, yes. Obviously we would, and that is one of the main questions that we want to be able to feed back into System 1. That currently doesn't happen, but we are working hard to try to get that working as well.
Okay.
Test results, so this can feed in from different systems, working with the pathology teams and in secondary care and things to get test results fed in to PKB, so it's there all in one place for the patient. So wherever they've had their test result done, it flows into here. Obviously, again, the patient can add it if it's not an automatic feed at the moment. And again, once you click into the detail, it gives you more information about that test result. There's also a link to lab tests online, and so once you're in that test result and you click on there, it will take you directly to that test and more details about what that means. So it educates the patient on their test results and gives them a better understanding. The other areas, not so widely used, but they're if needed. So the imaging section, you can add different imaging results in there. Audio, particularly useful for things like speech and language therapy. And then genetics can be recorded, the sequences can be added there. And so that kind of covers the whole health area. And then we've got a section here called treatment. So this area for care plans is somewhere where if you have a form or an information sheet that you particularly need your patient to refer to and may want to pull in information into that care plan, so it becomes an interactive care plan between you and the patient, then we can build them here. So there's a couple of examples here, but it can be built in any particular way. So the care plan has the information at the top around who created it and when, and then some just generic information pulled from the patient's record. And then the care plan can be, as you can see, all sorts of different information can be displayed to help the patient manage their particular symptoms. So we work with you to build those as and when you need them. Medications, again, very simple design in that it just displays all the medications that they're on, or perhaps they're now past medication. And so for the patient particularly, it helps them to have all that information to hand in one place. So if they're seeing a clinician that may not have a full update of all their medications, the patient has got it. Also very useful for if a carer is added to the record. So somebody that's can view their record as well. It gives them a more up-to-date picture of what those patients' medications are. The library, so this is something we'll set up for you initially for your practice, but you as a coordinator will be able to create more links and useful resources for your patients. The patient themselves can add their own links, but also, as I say, you can start to create a library of resources that you find the you think the patients will find useful. And it helps to direct them to the right sources rather than them just Googling things. So we can show you how that's done when we set up your coordinator role. Then we go into the diary section, just two parts to this. You've got a journal section, so again, the patient may want to just record some information, may want to put some notes in for when they meet with a clinician or just for their own purposes, but that's somewhere they can record that. And then the appointment section, again, if there's integration, that will flow into PKB, and it displays, again, where the information has been pulled from the source and when it was added. And if you click into view, it gives you more information about that actual appointment. Again, the patient can add their own, so it's a good central resource for them to be able to manage their appointments. But also, as a professional, the professionals can see that diary as well, so it helps. The file section, just an area where the patient can upload any documents they may have that they just want to hold in their record. And the devices is just that area where they can add the different devices. There's lots of different devices that can be added. And then the sharing page, this shows you, shows the patient which teams they're sharing with. So they may be part of a number of different teams, and they can also add an individual. So if they have, say, a physio or somebody that's not using PKB currently, and they want them to see their record, they can add them and invite them individually. They can also invite friends and family. So as I said, they can add a carer, or they can ask for access to somebody else's record that they want to be a carer for. So they have that ability. And then finally, there's a full auditable access log as to who's accessed their record, so they can always see who's accessed what area of their record and when. They can hide their own access, so they just see anybody else's. So that's an overview of what the patient can see and do in their record. So as we've said, as Karen said, the triage consultation is a way of the patient initially contacting the practice to either arrange a consultation or raise a query. So we put that here in the welcome message, that if they want to do that, click Start Consultation. Now, there's currently 2 here just because we're on to version 2, so but there will only be 1 in there. They click to show the team they want to send that to. So, sorry, John, are we going to say something? No. So then the questions go down, and this was designed based on the 111 information. So this is about what in an emergency, if you need any of the, if you're suffering from any of these, then don't use this service. You should immediately call 999. It then goes through a couple of questions around COVID, so asking around temperatures and coughs, so they can answer those. I just answer those. They do also say if you select yes, again, 111 should be contacted. If none of the above, and they do still want to contact the surgery, then there's a number they can click why they're contacting the practice, and just some free text as to what their query is about. Then there's a question as to how they would prefer you to contact them back, by phone or through PKB. If it's by phone, then they can put in a phone number for you to contact them. Just a couple of changes to this version of the consultation is that we're going to make it 2 working days. Obviously, if you before that, that's fine, but it seemed to be better to say 2 working days. We're also going to have that information at the top and the bottom of the form as well. And then the patient can submit it. So just that simple consultation to send through. Any questions before I move off the patient?
Yes, I've got one, Steph.
Yeah.
On the medication,
Yeah.
you've got an edit button.
Yeah.
What sort of things can they edit on the medication, if you don't mind?
So that's only, I'm just trying to get back into it, that's only if they have added it themselves.
Oh, right, that's good.
So, yeah, so anything throughout the system, if they've added it, they can amend it, but it's obvious to everyone the source of who's added that. So, yes, if it's been sent through integration, the patient hasn't got that option. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So I'll log in now as a professional. Sorry?
I was just a bit worried what they were going to do with the medication.
Yeah. No. So they won't be able to do that. So I'll log in now as a professional, and I'll just go through how then they will receive that consultation that the patient has just sent through. As you can see, this it shows it here, but what the best way to do this and what we're suggesting to practices is that the team who are managing, say, the phones and emails, all have access to PKB, and so they can all click on, they log in as themselves, but all click on messages here at the top, and that will show all the messages that are coming through from the patients. If it's white, it means it hasn't been opened. If it's grey, it has been opened, but there's been no reply because it's still only one piece of information, no one thread. Something that is some new development that we're doing and will hopefully be in the next couple of months is that this list you will be able to mark who's actioning the message. So it kind of goes into a list of what's been actioned, and also you can then archive the message once it's been dealt with. It can go into an archive list, and so it doesn't just become one big long list of messages. So it's easier to manage. So if I open this one, it opens up the pre-consultation questionnaire that the patient Terry has just filled in. So then it's kind of down to you as a practice how you want to manage that as you manage your other messages coming in, whether that's discussed via the System 1 tasks that you may have, or whether it's just a simple reply. It might be the person who's picked the message up can simply reply. It might be that they're asking for an appointment, so that can be booked in, and then that message can be archived. So there's a number of ways they can be dealt with, but that records that message coming through. And so that's the patient, the professional that can read all those messages coming in. If the professional wants to actually go in and have a look at the patient's record themselves, there's a search criteria here, so you can search for the patient via the NHS number, via their date of birth, or by part of their name. One thing just to note here is that it's already available in EMIS, and we're working on developing the same thing in System 1. It should be, final testing is being done this week, so it is coming very soon. Is that when it's basically like a single sign-on, so when you're in System 1 and you want to just go and view a patient's record in PKB, you'll be able to do that through System 1, so you won't have to log into PKB and back again. You'll just be able to seamlessly view that patient's record while still in System 1. So I've found my patient here, so I just click go, and then you can see the patient's come up. Straight away, you can send a message, you can start a consultation, so you could actually send that consultation to the patient, or there's the option to reset their password. But if you click on their name, that then brings you into their full record within PKB. So you now know you're in that patient's record because it has the details up at the top and the demographics that they have. You can actually edit those demographics if need be. And then basically this first page is a summary of the patient's record. So obviously this is a very busy summary sheet at the top, the dashboard, because it's a test patient, but it allows you to very quickly just go through the different things that are happening to the patient, so their inpatient activity, appointments and things like that. Also shows you the test results and imaging, so you can quickly link to them from here. Just includes the demographics again, and then the medications, allergies, diagnosis, and any care plans they're using. So that's just a summary page. And then basically it goes through what we've really shown you already with the patient's record. So it's a same view as the patients themselves, and so it is a transparent view of everything. So that's how the consultation would be received. Is there any questions got on that? No.
Just with the, where it said start consultation, so is that where we'd be able to do the video consultation?
So with the video consultations, you'd still be able to use AccuRx for that. What you need to do at that point is copy and paste the link, which would launch the AccuRx consultation. If you copy and paste that into your message or into your appointment on PKB, then that can be launched in the same way as it could with any other video software that might be used by the practice.